what tell me, what made this your focus? Because you're really the only person talking about this, at least in media, and you're an independent journalist, so you get a little bit more freedom. But how did this end up on your radar?
Um, First of all, I don't really tell a whole lot about my personal life.
Sure.
But I have a mother-in-law who is addicted to drugs and who lives homeless. And I've been trying for 2 years to get her help. She's lived with me and my girlfriend several times, and we've instilled rules in our household. No getting high and no bringing drugs into our house, and she wasn't able to abide by those rules. So I've been trying to get her help for about 2 years. And, I was riding the LRT one day, and I'm a very observant person. And this was about 3 months ago. And I just thought to myself, I was like, as a journalist and having to deal with this situation myself, if I couldn't get my mother in law help, how would I get anybody else help? That is also dealing with a drug addiction. And so I started riding the LRT. I did have one resident, and I won't say her name because she doesn't want me to name her, but she reached out to me, and she works in downtown Edmonton, and she has two autistic children. And she rides the LRT. She's a hardworking Albertan, and she rides the LRT to downtown. And she told me a story about how she kisses her children goodbye in the mornings, not knowing if she's going to return that evening. And it's because of the dangers that she faces on the LRT system. So, having been all over the world, I've been through 27 countries, and I've been some pretty scary places. I've lived in Belfast and some other places. So, I'm quite fearless. Um, I decided that, I'm going to take a stand, and I don't believe in safe supply, Sheila, because at AA meetings we don't give out alcohol shots at AA meetings. So why are we giving out safe supply of drugs to drug addicts? And I just want to enforce a note. There is no safe supply of
No.
meth, heroin, and cocaine. No matter what the government says, there is no safe supply of these hard drugs. And I truly believe that safe supply and handing out needles, and again, Edmonton made a decision yesterday. I was reading that they're going to stop handing out needles here now in the LRT system, which is a first step. But we don't we don't give drugs to the drug addicts is the thing, because like how is that helping them? And I know that what my mother-in-law, and again, and I'm trying not to ramble here, Sheila, but
No, it's
again,
okay.
like people have really, I've experienced a lot of hate in the last 3 months, and I'm going to call them out. It's from the woke left and liberals and NDP supporters. They don't like what I'm doing. They say I'm not preserving people's dignity, but like under photo law, Sheila, and because you're a journalist, if you're in a public place, I'm allowed to take your picture and publish it. And people say, you need to preserve these people's dignity, and you know, I preserve people's dignity. I watched a man, use the bathroom a couple months ago on Jasper Avenue when it was -40, and it was frozen to him as he was trying to wipe himself, and his dignity is already gone. And I once lived homeless myself, and I won't tell my own story, but when you're down, you never think you're going to be up again, and when you're up, you never think you're going to be down. So don't judge the person that's on the corner, addicted to drugs and homeless, because it could be you, and it can happen to anyone. Addiction touches all families, and of course, it's touched mine, and my girlfriend is her family has been torn apart by drugs, and you know I see the pain that it causes her, and I just want to help other people and humanity here in Edmonton. So that's a little bit about why I started this.
I've got a real tough time taking lessons about preserving human dignity from people whose progressive policies are damning Edmonton's homeless and drug addicted to a slow, tumultuous death. And it's not just the drug addict, as you point out. And you're not alone in this. I mean, drug addiction touches, I think you'd be hard pressed to find a family that has escaped it. But it's not just the addict that is suffering out on the street. It's their family. It's you here who, you're trying to get your girlfriend's mom some help, and you've got progressives telling you that you don't care about the addicted. Tell me, this has put you on the radar of some pretty scary characters. And really all you're doing is taking pictures and sharing pictures of the things you see on your way to work. What's, tell us about the ramifications of just telling the truth for you.
Well, like I tell people, the absolute truth will be my legacy, Sheila. I always say to people, I work for the people. The Western Standard just pays me, and it's my girlfriend is really scared. She really worries about me, but I'll die for this for this stance that I've taken, and I haven't really reported a whole lot on what I've experienced because I don't want to be seen as a snowflake. We saw the Gil McGowan video where he gave me the finger, and we posted it online, and people said, "Oh, you're a snowflake," and you're you're
Yeah.
making a mountain out of a molehill, basically.
Right.
Well,
But
people,
if the mainstream media journalists get a mean tweet, they're going to convene a government panel to examine the treatment of female journalists online. But independent journalists and you can get, shoved, assaulted, threatened by well-connected people, and nobody seems to care.
well, and 2 months ago, some people in the LRT tried to set me on fire for taking pictures. So they sprayed me with a flammable liquid and tried to light me. And just a little bit about myself. I do have a rough and tough background, being a newfie and being all over the world. And I've worked in some pretty scary places, and the devil wouldn't frighten me. And I can fight, and I'm good at it now. I didn't want to fight anyone, but I was willing to fight those people that day. And I can handle myself and I can look after myself. But it worries me about the seniors and the other people, children who are riding the trains and who can't look after themselves. So I've been in some scary situations, and I don't want to put a bigger target on my head, but I've been told that gang members have a price on Arthur Green in Edmonton, and I'm upsetting the balance because these drug dealers are preying on these vulnerable people, and they're preying on my mother-in-law, and I don't take that lightly. It's personal for me, and I'm not going to back down. And yeah, so every vulnerable person group that I follow, because I observe and report. I'm an investigative journalist, so I do watch people. I won't say I stalk people, but I do watch people, and I followed some groups around the city, and the same individuals muster within these groups, and I know they're the dealers, and I can figure this out. Having lived on the street myself, again, and having a tremendous background when it comes to being down and out. There was no one ever down and out as I was. I picked myself back up, and now I just can't stop, Sheila, and I'm not going to stop. This is happening. People can live in their glass houses. They say don't throw rocks at glass houses, and people can live in their houses and worry about their supper and what they're going to watch on TV that night. When meanwhile in downtown Edmonton, drug dealers are preying on the vulnerable and causing chaos.
That was an excerpt from the Ezra Levant Show. I'm Ezra Levant. Every weekday, I do a monologue about the topic of the day. Then I interview a fascinating guest either in studio or via Skype. And then I read your mail, whether it's fan mail or hate mail, which is sometimes even more interesting. This is on our premium service, though, called Rebel News Plus. Go to rebelnewsplus.com. It's $8 a month or less if you buy a whole year in advance. You get my show every weeknight, plus Sheila Gunn Reid's show every week. It's called The Gun Show. It's pretty amazing. You know, we rely on you because we do not take a dime from the government. In Canada, that makes us almost unique. So please help us out and help yourself to some great journalism at rebelnewsplus.com.